Have you ever wondered what it takes to build a whole kingdom, from the ground up? Well, we're about to see an entire civilization rise from just a single founder. This is a 100-day journey to grow an ant colony, starting with one queen, all by herself against the world.
And it all starts right here, with her. A single queen ant in a test tube with the, monumental task of creating life. She's the founder, she's the mother, and for right now, she's the only resident of a kingdom that doesn't even exist yet. Her journey is gonna be our story. So, in this first part, we're meeting the founding queen. Her biggest and most important challenge right out of the gate is to start a colony completely on her own. No workers, no help, just her and the four walls of this little test tube.
And we're not talking about just any old ants here. No, these are trap-jaw ants. They get their name from these massive mandibles that can literally snap shut like a bear trap. It's a superpower that's going to be super important later on. And get this, the workers are almost as big as the queen herself. This is one formidable species.
In the beginning, growth is just painfully slow. From day 1, it takes about a whole week just for that first worker to hatch. And by day 20, the population is still only 4. These first workers are called nenotics, and they're a bit smaller than the ones that come later. Their only job? Serve the queen, so she can just focus on laying more eggs.
So the creator tries to give them a little boost with a drop of honey, but the worker just knocks it right over. So what gives? Well, at this early stage, the queen is what's known as claustral, which means she's actually feeding these first workers herself from her own body's resources. They just didn't need any outside food yet. A pretty fascinating, if kind of messy, first lesson in ant biology. Okay, so as the colony started to grow, that little test tube was becoming a dangerously crowded space. It was time for a major upgrade. And this kicks off the next phase of our story, building a new home, a real fortress that's actually fit for a growing kingdom. And this wasn't some fancy store-bought ant farm. Oh no, the creator went full-on DIY, taking a brick and literally carving out chambers with a hammer and a chisel. A coat of blue paint, a sponge to keep things humid, and an acrylic sheet for a lid, and there you have it, a custom-built ant castle. Pretty ingenious stuff. And the upgrade was, well, it was a total game changer. They went from a cramped single-room tube to this spacious home with dedicated rooms for the nursery, a pantry, even a little spot for their trash. This move wasn't just about comfort. It was absolutely essential for the colony's health and its ability to keep growing.
So here's the question. How do you get an entire ant colony to pack up their bags and move house? Well, you basically make them an offer they can't refuse. A bright light was aimed at the old test tube to make it really uncomfortable, while the new brick home was covered with a red sheet, which to ants looks like complete darkness. Add a little sugar water as a welcome gift, and before you know it, the workers were escorting their queen into her new palace.
Okay, so they have a new home, a growing population, the colony was absolutely thriving. But, as you know, success brings new challenges. It was time to see if this small but mighty kingdom could actually hunt for itself and defend its territory. A desert-themed outworld was connected to their nest, giving them all this new territory to explore and forage in. But this new freedom came with a really big test. Could this handful of workers really take down prey that was much, much bigger than they were? And that challenge arrived in the form of a live cricket. We're talking an absolute giant compared to these ants. And things got dangerous fast. The cricket didn't just stay in the outworld. It panicked and ran right through the connecting tube, straight into the heart of the nest, directly threatening the queen.
It was pure chaos. The workers swarmed the intruder, snapping those powerful trap jaws. They were trying desperately to get a lock on this thing, but the cricket was just too fast, too agile, and all their first attacks completely missed. This wasn't just a hunt anymore. It was a desperate defense of their home and their queen.
But then, in the middle of all that chaos, one worker just focused. It lined up the perfect shot, clamped down with incredible force, and used its own strength to just slam the cricket against the floor over and over until it was subdued. Incredibly brutal, yes, but a decisive victory. The threat was gone, and the colony had just secured a massive amount of food. So, the colony was doing great. They had a home, they had food, they had a growing population, they had passed every single test thrown at them. But just as the experiment was about to wrap up, the story takes this totally shocking and mysterious turn. Day 100, the final milestone. On day 97, the colony had 12 workers and looked like a picture of success. But just 3 days later, everything had changed.
The nest was empty. The outworlds were empty. The once bustling colony had just vanished. What in the world could have happened?
The answer came straight from the creator himself, a tiny, almost invisible gap right under that acrylic cover, a fatal design flaw. It was just big enough for every single worker to slip through and escape into the night. Every single ant except for one. 100 days of work, of growth, of survival, all of it undone by a mistake the size of a millimeter. This last part of the story, it's about loss, but it's also about resilience, and the one queen who survived it all.
And so the journey comes full circle. On day 1, she was a lone queen in a tube, about to start her life's work. By day 100, after losing absolutely everything, she is once again a lone queen in an empty fortress. Her entire colony is gone.
But this story doesn't end in failure. The creator carefully moved the lone queen back into a brand new, clean test tube. I mean, she had built a colony from nothing once before, and she could do it again. The day counter was reset to 1, giving this unbelievably resilient queen a second chance.
And so the queen's story leaves us right here. It's this incredible cycle of creation and collapse, and a pretty stark reminder that even the strongest foundations can be brought down by the tiniest oversight. It really makes you wonder, what does it truly take to build something that lasts?